What's going on, you guys? Welcome back to another TTG video. My name's Caleb Mayer, aka the Theatre Guy, and in today's video I'm going to show you guys how to make your very own DIY modeling wax with just 2 cheap ingredients. Stay tuned. Okay, so the first thing you guys are going to need is Vaseline petroleum jelly. Now, I use the Blue Seal Vaseline. It doesn't really matter what brand you guys use. Basically, I just went for the cheapest brand I could find. And I think if you guys can get the petroleum jelly by itself, or the pure petroleum jelly, I think that might even be better. But I personally use this Blue Seal Vaseline. And you're going to let's just take 1 big scoop of your Vaseline out, about so big, and put it in your bowl. Next, you guys are going to take any sort of baking flour. Again, I went for the cheapest one. You can use any baking flour so long as it's the fine one, and there's like wheat flours and stuff like that. Well, this is wheat flour, but preferably get the fine one because the gritty one is not going to work as well. You kind of have to get the finest one you can find. So we're going to mix about 2 ratios of flour to 1 ratio of Vaseline, about the same size as you see here. Also, you guys might want to lay down a cloth or 2 just so you guys don't mess. Okay, so now we're going to take just, you guys can use a spatula for this, like a makeup or painting spatula. I'm using a butter knife. As you guys can see, this butter knife of mine is pretty flat and nice and rounded, so it's actually perfect for this. And you just kind of mix the 2 together. Now when I say mix, not mix as in as if you're mixing eggs. Mix more like as in, you know, compress and move, you know. You're just going to keep doing this until you get a good consistency. You want it squishy enough to roll around in your hands, but also firm enough so it doesn't stick to your hands when you're rolling it. So just keep mixing it like that. You see as I'm doing it, toss, compress, like that. And you guys could use your hands for this, but I would not recommend it because it gets quite sticky with your hands. That's why only take it out with your hands when you think you've got it pliable enough. So you see, like now, as I'm moving it around in my hands, it's getting all soft again. So I'm going to plop that back in there and mix it even more. So you see now, it's kind of, it can stick together, but it is sort of crumbly like this. So just for now, I just want to knead it a bit with my fingers until it's a bit sticky, pop it back in, and then we're going to take our knife again and just apply some flour and keep kneading it until we get that consistency we want. For those of you who do use modeling wax, you'll know that it actually starts out a bit firmer, and then you've got to work in your hands just to kind of warm it up and make it more pliable. With this, it's basically the same, you know. You want to get it to that same sort of consistency. It is a bit softer than the real stuff, but the goal is to kind of get it harder, you know, so at least you can knead it in your hands if you need to when you apply it. I'd also recommend only making small doses of this stuff depending on what you're going to use it for, because it tends to start going yellowish after about a week or so. I also recommend with the Vaseline to try and get a plain one. You guys will see it's like the original. I've got the original right here, but so don't get any flavored ones or anything. As you can see now it's becoming more pliable. You see, it's kind of, it's still sticking slightly to my hands, but not as much as it was. So now we're just going to keep kneading the flour in. Also, the ratios I gave earlier, the 3 to 1, is not exact. It's sometimes, I suppose it just depends on the Vaseline and the flour you use. But you can always just use that as a basis, and then you can just add more flour or Vaseline as you need. But like I say, first knead all of your stuff together until there's nothing in your bowl, because you know, at first it does seem like, oh okay, it's not going to, it needs more Vaseline or it needs more flour. but if you keep kneading it, you'll find that, oh okay, it's generally the 3-to-1 ratio. 1 Vaseline to 2 flour is enough. As you can see now, we're getting there with that ball. Okay, so as you guys can see, I've reached this point with my ball, and then I've actually basically run out of flour, so I'm just going to add a little more flour, just about half a teaspoon's worth, just over like that. You guys might also want to have a cloth nearby just so you can, wipe your hands, because this stuff is quite greasy. Okay, so now as you guys can see, this ball I'm able to knead in my hand now, and it doesn't stick to my fingers at all. And that's exactly the consistency you want to get. Just to test that it is the right consistency, you could just take break a small piece off like so, and we're just going to apply it to our hand just to see how good it is. So you see, just put it on your hand like that, flatten around the edges like so, and then we can just take the back of a spoon and we use that to smoothen out the edges into our skin. Because obviously the point of this stuff is to add features onto your face, either the tip of a nose or a scar or terrible wounds or something like that. And then once we've smoothed out the edges, we can just start on the top and just start smoothing that out and adding it too. And there we go. So now that's on our skin. If you just watch how I flick my hand. That's not coming off. You see, that's not even the edges are coming off. So it's actually pretty good stuff, considering it's only Vaseline and flour. But there we go. That's how you make your very own DIY modeling wax. Hey you guys, thank you so much for liking, commenting, and subscribing. If you guys would like to see one of the many projects I've done, click here. If you guys want to see a makeup tutorial I've done with this DIY modeling wax, click here. Want to subscribe to the theatre guy, click here. And now I'm just going to awkwardly watch you guys until this video ends.